It's December 30th, and we are in the last day of not home for the holidays, where for the past 30 days I covered all missing person cases. Please look under the community tab for missing person case information and follow the links for more missing person videos that I did previously. As I listened, read, watched, even visiting his page, everything I could find out about this missing person, Creg Lyles. If you're familiar with this story, it should have been an open and closed case. The person that has something to do with his disappearance is right there. Creg Lyles, 33 years old, was an IT specialist. He loved being in the church choir as a director. He would act, sing. He loved to be on stage and in the spotlight. But one thing that he most definitely loved was his family. When Creg came out to them as a gay man, I imagine it was hard, terrifying for him. Creg would find out that there was no love lost. His parents, Greg and Mary Lyles, they still loved him the way that they always did. Matter of fact, the entire family loved him the way that they always did. Creg was what his close aunt and cousins called the glue that held the family together. Creg loved to host family events, from the small kids right up to the elders. He was in charge. He would make sure that everyone had a ride to and from, that everyone was comfortable, even made sure that their favorite dishes were going to be served, and that everyone was going to have a great time. The way they talked about it, they always did have a great time. He even started Cousins Day, a day for all the cousins to enjoy, and he started a family group chat so that everyone would be in touch with each other. One thing Creg was going to do was to make sure that the family was communicating. This family talked, spoke, and loved on this man. It's a beautiful thing because a lot of us, we don't have that. And if we did, it was a long time ago. Creg would introduce a man that he was dating to the family, Michael Butler Jr. They're the same age. They called him Mike. It was the first man that the family had ever seen Creg with, so he had to be special. Family members said meeting Mike was different. He was tricky, their words. So I wanted to know more about this tricky man. So I looked for him on social media, and it was simple. He's still friends with Creg. Mike's last public post was December 15, 2014. He said he went to school for IT. His mother had passed away sometime before 2014. He admired a picture of them together, referring to her as a beautiful black woman. He spoke about topics on his timeline like Ferguson, Mike Brown, Malcolm X, MLK, Obama, even quotes from the Bible that I found interesting. On November 23, 2014, quote, "My black woman putting it down on Sunday for her man, very thankful for her," end quote. She made him dinner. So Mike was bisexual, to say the least.
Hi. Just chilling on the couch. Full. Thank you for the Christmas love that you shown. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Thank y'all for the love.
Happy holidays.
Can't respond to everybody, so we doing this.
God bless everybody.
Shoot the cameraman, which is me. My arm short. But happy holidays to everybody.
Happy holidays.
We're full.
Yeah.
We got more stops, but this is our official happy holidays. Thank you and shout out to everybody. Oh yeah, we would go Carolyn, but yeah. Hi Brandy. We just saying happy holidays to everybody because we can't reply back to everybody all at once. So here it is.
Happy holidays to everybody.
Bye.
The couple had been together for 2 years by now. The family started to see a change in Creg. He wasn't himself when Mike was around. It's almost like he was fighting who he was inside, like he had to hide that energetic, funny-natured, outgoing family person he was when he was around his family. I think Mike was trying to dim Creg's shine. Family members noticed at a gathering, Mike was just sitting there, looking around the room, staring at the family, almost like he was disgusted. That's the words that they would use, disgusted. They also noticed Creg was staring at Michael. Something was going on with them. But what? On January 1st, 2021, 3 weeks before Creg would go missing, Creg posted this pic. Happy New Year from my faves. I love you both to the moon and back again. Hashtag. Someone responded, glad you found a loving relationship. You so deserve it. Creg replied, you are awesome. It's time to be true to you. Love you. Prior to that last New Year Eve pic with Dad, Creg started to not attend these family events as much as he normally would, which was alarming. He was the one that the family would say he would do the most. And now he's seldomly attending. And when he did show up, Mike wasn't there. Mike would drop him off in Creg's car and leave. It was something about him that I didn't care for, said Greg, Creg's father. Creg hadn't shared with his family Mike's past. I guess he didn't want them to pass judgment on Mike. I do feel that Mike was judging them. Michael Butler Jr. had been paroled from a 22-year sentence that he'd only served part of. I couldn't pinpoint exactly what it was, but burglary was one of his many past charges. Creg wasn't posting on his social media. His mother calls him a social media butterfly. Even an aunt said she hadn't received her good morning, God is good text. His last public post was January 20, 2021, the day before he went missing. Now this was brought to the attention of Creg's father. He had a college friend that lived not too far from Creg. He asked them to go by and check on his son at the apartment that he shared with Mike. Whatever was going on there, it prompted the police to be called. Mike was the only one there. He looked surprised that someone had came looking for Creg. It looked like a struggle incurred inside that apartment. Mike said that they had gotten into an argument last month. That was his explanation for the damaged apartment. And why? This was blood soaked into the carpet. The police actually said that it was old blood. Creg was a neat freak. He would have never let blood stay in the carpet for weeks. Mike wouldn't answer too many questions about their relationship. Doesn't seem like he had given any pertinent information about anything. Creg had tons of clothing, suits, shoes, hats. They were all gone now. His closet was completely empty. Drawers were empty, besides a cell phone that was left in a drawer and a laptop that was found underneath the bed. No towels in the bathroom. Not even a shower curtain was hanging up. The bed was bare, no bedding, and a knife in the sink. As if Creg just picked up all his things he owned and left the apartment walking somewhere because Mike, he had his car. And Creg didn't notify this extremely tight-knit family that he comes from? Mike hadn't even bothered to notify the family. And he had contact information to do so. No, this wasn't right. The last time his friends and family had heard or seen him active on social media, it was a public post. January 21st, he posted about a friend's funeral that he had attended. Jan 17th, God is good. Jan 16th, football fun with dad and bae. Hashtag family first, hashtag good times. On January 15th, I don't know who needs to hear this. If the good outweighs the bad, stay together, hashtag y'all got this. Someone commented, quote, unless there's physical abuse, get out. There's no good, end quote. Creg responded, so true. Now, Michael was arrested on an outstanding warrant, a parole violation. An investigation started. They examined the cell phone, watches, car, computers, video images, and cellulite imagery. By the time police could find Michael and take a look at the car's computer could only go back 2 or 3 days, so any information from Creg's car was gone. Missing posters were passed out. The community, friends, and family, they got together to try to find Creg. This was not a hate crime unless the person he loved hated him. He did not walk away from his life. There was no reason to. He would try to make the best out of every day. Michael was even given a polygraph, which he failed, but police claim they did not have enough evidence to arrest him. Let's see. A damaged apartment, blood on the carpet, all Creg's belongings gone. His boyfriend is driving his car, and he told no one of Creg leaving. There's a knife in the sink and a failed polygraph. I'd like to know how big the blood stain was. Whose blood was it? More importantly, why didn't the argument lead to bloodshed? Was the knife tested? Whose blood was on the knife? Were there any videos of how Creg's belongings left the apartment? Did the apartment complex even have working cameras? And what was Michael's excuse for not informing the family that Creg was missing? Now, Michael Butler Jr. is a person of interest. He refuses to talk to anyone anymore about Creg's disappearance. Police told the family that they probably will never find Creg's body. Heartbreaking. The friend that initially arrived at Creg's house first felt like Michael had thrown all Creg's belongings in the dumpster, and Creg too. Creg hid it from me because he didn't want me to know that he was gay. I take responsibility for that growing up, and I feel responsible because when I told him to be himself, he went missing. That hurts me. I waited until he got grown and said, hey, be yourself. I don't care if anyone goes to prison. I just want to put my kid to rest. And that was said by Creg. Mary Lyles said, so I would never have the closure to put my son to rest properly like he's supposed to. Police believe that Michael is now living somewhere in Texas but unable to locate him for now. Now, Michael was arrested April 12, 2021, July 14, 2021, just months after Creg's disappearance. I mean, he could run, but he can't hide. He's not only the person of interest, he's the only person, the number one suspect. This is not a mystery at all. In my own opinion, I believe that Michael may have not been as secure in his sexuality like Creg was. I believe that Michael was so amazed, envious, and annoyed that Creg's family was so loving and they respected Creg and accepted Michael. Michael may not have been used to that. Was Creg in an abusive relationship? I believe so. The signs. Based on what I have read, perhaps. Same-sex partners can be in domestic bad situations too. It's no different from heterosexual couples. Michael showing up to functions just to be there, just uninterested. Remember, he was disgusted by this family, the family that wanted to celebrate everything that they could just on the strength of being together as a family. They even thought enough to include Michael and treat him like a family. I know Michael has siblings, at least a brother. I wonder, did his brother know that he was in a same-sex relationship? And if I have mistaken, and that Michael's family knew, did they know that this couple was having issues with their relationship? Were there problems that Creg opted to tell no one? That's what someone in a domestic violent relationship, that's what they do. They're embarrassed and they're hoping that that person would change, and they didn't want the family to know because they don't want the family to dislike that person. And in Creg's case, maybe even praying that his faith would see him through this. Did one of their arguments get so out of hand that it was an accident and Michael panicked and pretended that Creg left, but he was caught red-handed? He knew that Creg was close to his family. Did Mike even tell someone in his own family what happened? Because I believe so. Michael was prepared to be arrested that day. He's smart enough to know that you can still be charged with murder, even though there is not a body. It just didn't happen that day. Michael knows he's a part of this. He looks at everything related to Creg Lyles. And I know that he'll be looking at this. Creg Lyles was a man. A black man, a gay man, a black gay man. I'm sure that the family may have thought that this is why it's taking so long. Missing person cases unfortunately do take a while, which is even more tragic and heartbreaking because it's hard to move on, especially when the evidence and the suspect, it was also clear. Like the missing families, they always say, it's the not knowing. If Michael was able to place Creg's body somewhere where they could recover it and give him a proper burial, that would probably take a lot of weight off. Michael also knows that he's looking at a hard time. The family knows that their child is not going to be planning any more family gatherings again. I mean, we want to protect our children forever, and it's hard to let them go. But whatever happened in that apartment, Creg knew he had a family that loved him and accepted him. And you could never have protected Creg from someone he loved. When no one thought that the person that he loved would do this to him. Police vow that this case isn't over. Justice for Creg Lyles.
At my parents' condo. They doing shots, celebrate my mama's birthday. She turned 54 today. She is the rock of our family. She is my everything. She don't never judge me. And she's just the best.